Hey guys, welcome to another training video over Adobe Campaigns. My name is Mike Berkey, and in today's video I'm going to show you guys how to actually send an email using Adobe Campaigns. Now at the time of this video, it is still very early in the process or in the environment of our Adobe Campaigns account. So there's a few things that are a little bit limited at this time, but I'm going to do an update to this video, an update to this process, so you guys can see all of the different options that would be available to you as a message sender. But for right now, we kind of only have a linear track with one template to send something out, but it will be very similar to this process once we have more templates and more things to choose from. So let's get into it. So once you get to Adobe Campaigns and you're on your dashboard, you will see a few different areas to create an email notification, but the easiest way to do that is just by creating an email with this button here in the top left of your dashboard. When you create this, it'll bring you to the options that you will have to actually send an email out. Again, there's only a few options to choose from at this moment, but I'm going to go through just this template that we've set up using our email template and using the Department of Health as an example. So you'll see several different options here when you do have when everything's in the system. But for right now, we just have this template that we've set up for the Department of Health that I'm going to use for this video. I'm going to select this and go to next. When I select the type of email I want to send out and hit next, it'll bring me to this emails property page where I can go through and fill out information. So I can just fill out the label for this email that's going out as test for campaigns training video. Usually IDs stay the same. You do have the option, if you watched my other video on programs versus campaigns in the system, you have the option to actually assign this to a campaign that you've created. So that's like an overall kind of sub-project that's inside of campaigns. You kind of compile everything that's related to a certain topic into one campaign and view all of them in that area. So you can go through and select a campaign that you've created. So I just have a training video on sending emails campaign. I'm just going to select that and hit confirm, kind of group that into that campaign area. You can add a brief description of this email if you need to as well, and then hit next. When you hit next, you have the ability to target specific people to receive this email. Now, as you can see, we chose a template as our email type, and that template already actually had an audience assigned to it. And that is one of our helpful friends over at Adobe using a test environment. He's been one of our testers. He's helped us out with setting up the account, etc. But his name was already, or his email was already associated with this template. That's something very cool and something you guys should check out in one of my other videos, is how to set up templates to save certain audience members, things like that, to where you don't have to keep updating who this email is going to go to. You can just set up a template, and this is especially important for reoccurring emails. So you can set up a template that only goes to certain people. Then you don't have to target those people when you create that email. If you select that template, it's already assigned to that template. So you can see that Jazz here is assigned to this template. I'm going to go ahead and remove him though. So if I select his name here, you can see that the attributes that are being targeted here is his email. But I'm going to actually, how do I remove? There we go. Click on his name and then hit the trash can. That'll remove Jazz from this target. And as you can see, I'm in the template, and I can still kind of modify for this specific instance, taking Jazz off of the recipient list. And I'm just going to use this toolbar over here to select how I want to target my audience for this message specifically. And there's a few different things you can use to target profiles. But in this case, I'm just going to use this filter of select a profile. This will be drug over into this area, and I'll be able to search through all of the profiles we have currently in the system and find my name. But instead of just kind of scrolling through here, I'm going to use this little bar at the top to open up my search and just search for Mike. And there I am. I'm in there a couple times, but that's okay. That's because I've been in here multiple times messing with things. But you'd select a profile for Mike, and there I am. I'm now the targeted profile to receive this message. There's another video that I will be recording that will go over all of the different options and attributes that you can use to target specific people for your distribution. But I don't want to go into that in this video. This is just watch that video, see how all the different options we have to target different individuals for your notifications. You can easily just use select a profile, assign it to a single person. If you do use some of these rules to target specific aspects of people's profiles, you may want to hit preview, see the grouping, make sure that the amount of people in your group looks right. If you specifically target a group and it's supposed to be 15 people and you open it up and now it's like 50 people, you know that's a problem. So you can hit preview to see who's in that group you've kind of narrowed down or filtered out, or you can just do this count option, reload it. It'll show you the amount of people in your rules or filters that you've set up. It's 1 because it's only me in there. So this is your target to receive the final version of this email campaign. The test profiles is something you can actually set up when you send a proof of your email. This is kind of a draft of your email. You can set up a targeted group of people or one person to always receive your proof email before you send out the final email to your target. Same thing happens here. You can have a bunch of different parameters to narrow that down. I'm just going to do select the test profile. You can see all the different test profiles that have been set up in the system so far. So you can just grab one and add them to it. So Jazz will receive my draft or my proof of my email before it goes out to the recipients. This can be set up in the template as well. It is a separate profile though, so you do actually have to have a separate test profile set up. So if I wanted to be the test profile here, I would actually have to set up a test profile in the system. Again, that's another video that you can go check out. So once I have my target here, I'm just going to hit next. And now this is where I'm actually getting into the content. You can see the final step in the process here. This is where I can actually go in and modify things that are inside of this template for content specific to my messaging. In this instance, this template was created using the Creative Designer. There may be some templates that are created using the default editor. I've noticed that if there has been a Creative Designer template in the system and I try to edit that at all with the default editor, I will receive some error messages and it kind of messes up a little bit. So I'm just going to jump into the Creative Designer. This is one of the options in the system to modify the content in your messaging. So here's the actual template. This may look familiar to you guys. This is what we try to use on most of our emails that go out from our team. Kind of this blue on blue theme here with the TN logo with the department logo next to it. Underneath this is where you can go through and actually modify this content how you see fit to how your messaging needs to be for this specific email that's going out. There's a lot of just kind of filler content in there currently. You can also modify the title of the notification here at the top. And you can also click inside of the email image header that's being used for the Department of Health, and you can change that to your department's logo. And again, this is just an example that we've used for the Department of Health as a template. So when you click on that, you can go through and you can upload your department's logo here to be the top or the header of your notification. So you can go through and modify this content, get it fit, get it to where you need it to be for your notification that's going out. There's a lot of different options here in the creative editor where there's columns and things you can add to this template. Because we're fairly new to this environment, I'm not entirely sure what all will be locked down for general users here. I don't know if this template's going to be locked down to where all you can modify are the text elements, the header, the subheader, and the actual content. Or you can actually add columns and different things to it. I'm not sure yet because we are pretty early in the process. But there are a lot of options here if they're available to you when you get in. I'm probably going to create another video on using the Creative Designer editor for your email notifications if these elements are available to you as a message sender. But once you go through and you figure out what you need to put in for your messaging, you would then hit that save button. Let's see if we can go through and fill out what we need to do. So up in the top, Test for Campaigns training video, that's the name of this notification for us, but you do need to go back into the email properties and you need to make sure it has a subject. This is what appears, of course, in the subject line in the email. So this is Test for Campaigns training video. If you go into the pencil option, you will see some options over here on the left that you can add in some personalized fields. So if I kind of put my cursor there and hit this, this is a little like person for personalization fields. You can go through and actually add in the person's first name in the subject line if you need to. So if we wanted to make this more welcoming, we'd say welcome space. In that space, let's put first name. Let's see, why didn't that add? Let's see. As you can see, I am walking through this Creative Designer myself, trying to figure out everything you can do in it. I'm more familiar with the default editor. There we go. You have to double click it. So when you double click it, it does add that personalization field there. The default editor looks a little bit different, but it functions pretty much the same way. So I've added that first name here. So when I receive this email, my email subject line will say, "Welcome, Mike, Test for Campaigns training video." When you have multiple people in your recipients, it will personalize that for each individual person receiving it. So if multiple people on my team receive this email, Bill would have "Welcome Bill," Todd would have "Welcome Todd," Art would have "Welcome Art," etc. So there's a lot of different things you can add personalization wise to make your email seem a little bit more targeted, a little more welcoming for them when they receive it. So if I hit save, it will add that to the subject line, and I hit save again, and now I have the overall save button in the top right hand corner. So it needs that subject line for you to be able to save it before you send anything out. So again, to get to that subject line up here in the top with the Creative Editor, hit that little pencil box and you will see the options here to edit the subject line. Once you've added the subject line and modified this content to how you need it to be for your notification, you hit save, and it then saves that to your account. Now that is not sent. That does not mean this email got sent to the person in your recipient list. This just means you've saved the content in the template for your email to now go out. So this will give you a little bit of a generic kind of like, hey, this configuration is entered, it's saved. We're now ready to send this out to your recipients. So you'll see several options on the screen. If you need to go back and modify anything in that, you can click this default editor, open it up, and you can go through and modify what you need to modify. But let's say we are ready, we are wanting to send it out. We have a test button here. This will send an email to your test profile that you've set out to on your notification. So I think I set Jazz up as my test profile. I'm not actually going to hit test because I don't want Jazz to receive this. But you would hit test here. It would send that email out to Jazz. He can get it and then make comments on it. There is no way that I know of at the moment anyway that he can like mark up the email and send it back to you. I think it's more like, hey, I received your test email. I'm going to email you separately with my modifications. Please go and make these. So it's kind of it's not inside of campaigns that the test goes out and gets proofed. But it is a test email that goes out, so that way you know it looks good and it goes out properly and things like that. Once you hit the prepare button, it will kind of get that message prepared to send. If there's a lot of people on your distribution, this may take a couple minutes, but usually it gets where it needs to be pretty quick. So it's still in the still in the preparing to send stage. You can see that it's targeting one person. It's going to deliver to one person. If you have an error message here, if it says like targeted one person and then the to deliver is 0, or there's just some error message on the screen, you may want to kind of go into the logs of this preparation step to see what the issue is. And that's what these little 3 dots are here. When you click on that, you'll see, you know, what happened. You'll see what the error message is here, and you can go through and figure out what the problem was and fix it. But we look like we're good to go. Targeted one to deliver one. We were ready to send this out. So you would just hit confirm, and that would be the final step to actually send that notification out. And of course, before you actually send it, it does confirm. Are you confirming your confirmation step to send this notification? This is just letting you know this is going out to everybody you have set it to go out to. Hit OK, and it sends out your notification. Now this will give you some metrics as soon as it goes out. I'm saying this a lot in this video, but there's going to be another video that goes over all of these metrics and what they mean and how to analyze them for your purposes. But there's a lot of cool things that Campaigns tracks in its system that will help you guys out with all of your emails. So I have sent it out. It's to deliver to one person, sent to one person. I don't have my Outlook open, but I should have received it. But let's go ahead and open it while I'm on the video. Why not? Let's see if we receive that. So it is delivered 100%. If you have multiple people on this, it is nice to have this delivered rate. You can see where an error message happened. If it was sending to 2 people, but it only delivered to 50%, that could be an issue. As soon as I receive this, there it is. Welcome, Mike. You can see that personalization in the subject line. Let's go ahead and download pictures so we see it all in its glory. You can see I get the message in my email. If I double click it and actually open it, that counts as an open rate in the system to where I can see as the sender how many people have actually opened it and looked at it. If you have any links inside of your text, you can actually see click-through rates. You can see how many people have clicked the link in your email, which is very nice. But we have sent that out. I've received it, and now let's see if it has updated. I think this refreshes every 10 minutes, so I don't want to stay on here for 10 minutes for it to show that I've opened it in the open rate section, but it will show up in about 10 minutes where this data refreshes. So that's kind of the generic step-by-step process to send an email out. From the home, you just hit create an email, you name it, you select your templates, go through and modify those templates how you need to do it. You then save it and prepare. You can send a draft or a proof to your test profiles, and then you just hit confirm, and it will send it out, and you'll get this data and you can analyze it. So there's a lot of kind of videos branching off of this. So if you need to get more details on several different aspects of sending an email or metrics or what the different templates are, things like that, look for those videos. But hopefully this helped you guys out knowing generally how to send something out through Adobe Campaigns. Let me know if you have any questions based off everything you saw here. There's my email, mike.berkey@tn.gov. You can send an email over to our team email box, eds.support@tn.gov. And of course, teamtn.gov/Adobe is kind of your information hub for everything we do with our Adobe products and what we offer. So again, hopefully this is helpful. It's a lot of information, but it is just kind of the generalization of sending things out through campaigns. So look for an updated video on this once we have more templates and things to choose from, and look for videos that are branching off from this topic. So hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Thanks.